Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey, Internet, and welcome back to the Intoxicated podcast. If you're brand new to Intoxicated, this is a drinking variety talk show where I have various guests on, and we talk about a subject that they have experience in. I had a very interesting idea for this week's episode. I actually am a bridesmaid in an upcoming wedding happening in just over 2 months. And so I'm good friends with a soon-to-be bride, my friend Mary, and I'm also friends with a wedding planner who I used to work with. So I thought it'd be really cool to get the two together and talk about weddings. I know, I can just hear the sighs right now, but hear me out. I actually legitimately love weddings. I love going to them. I love seeing what each couple does differently. I actually used to want to be a wedding planner until I became super duper bitter about love and the whole concept of marriage. But guess what? I still love weddings as a party and as an event. Do I think it's in the cards for me? Absolutely not. But I really love talking about them, and I love being part of people's weddings. So myself, Mary, and my friend Rebecca, who is the wedding planner extraordinaire, got together, and Rebecca showed up with a fancy cake that was amazing. And we drank like 2 bottles of wine for this episode and actually recorded for 3 hours. Obviously, there's going to be a 2-parter episode. I did cut it down a bit, so there is a part 2 coming. In this first part, we just kind of cover our thoughts on weddings. We talk about Rebecca's wedding. She is actually married herself. We talk about the 2 engagement stories. 2 very different engagements. Both very cool stories that you'll want to hear. Talk about what makes a good wedding, what our thoughts are on the traditional format of weddings, maybe how to handle unwanted wedding guests, how should you format a seating plan, the music, which I think is like on my top 3 most important things about weddings, and what our thoughts are on kids-free weddings. So we talked about a lot. This is a sleepover in podcast form. This is essentially what happens when you get a soon-to-be bride, a wedding planner, and a terribly single person together in a room, and you put a mic in front of them. And another thing that I will say, when I'm coming up for ideas for episodes, I actually do put out a lot of calls on Facebook for questions and comments. And this one had like almost 50 comments. So I think that there are people who do want to hear about this type of thing. I know it's really girly, but hey, this is the girl who put out an episode about makeup and a Taylor Swift album. So what do you want from me? Part 2 will be coming your way hopefully on Friday. So that will be slightly shorter, just under an hour. And in that part, we talk about the importance of being a really fun +1 when you go to weddings, the dances, the speeches, the dress. By the time part 2 hits for this wedding episode, I got very, very drunk. So we actually ended up like calling one of my friends on air. Rebecca actually pulled out her phone and pulled up a text talking about one of the worst bridezillas that I have ever heard of. So it gets really juicy in part 2, so make sure that you check that one out. Housekeeping. So there's a couple things I do want to mention before I get to this week's episode. One is that you need to head over to Intoxicated Reviews and check out the most recent episode on there. They do an episode all about Good Burger. Do you remember that movie? Yeah, they actually watched it and talked about it on Intoxicated Reviews. And if you're not aware, Intoxicated Reviews is a second Intoxicated channel hosted by my friend Corey, all about TV and movies. And one thing they do a lot over there is a segment called 90s Proof, where they go back and watch movies from the 90s and sometimes the 80s, and they essentially make fun of those movies. And it's really hilarious, so make sure you check it out. But if you are a Halifax listener, you are well aware that it is currently Burger Week. In fact, when this comes out, Burger Week will be officially over. But, you know, burgers are on everybody's movies brains right now. It's a big thing in Halifax. People go out hard for it. So Corey took advantage of this and did the Good Burger episode, but we have a contest going on over on Intoxicated Reviews. So go to Instagram and check out our post all about this contest. But we are going to give away 2 free movie passes to Cineplex theaters because I have them. And I mean, like I've always said, no one's going to go to the movies with me, so I might as well give them away to you guys. So I'll quickly go over the rules. You got to make sure that you are following us on Instagram. We do ask that you make a Feed Nova Scotia donation. I'd recommend doing it online because you can just capture a screenshot of that. You're going to want to post that screenshot confirmation of your donation, tag us in it, make sure that we see it. And last but not least, you're going to want to listen to Corey's most recent episode on Good Burger and find the secret hashtag in that episode and send us a direct message with that hashtag. Don't put it on your caption on your Instagram because other people will see it and cheat, and that's not fair. So direct message us with that hashtag and we will enter you for a chance to win 2 free movie tickets. And just keep in mind that your donation to Feed NS is really anything you can afford. It can be any donation, but we do want to spread that love over to Feed Nova Scotia. So if you're in Canada where there is Cineplex, this is the contest for you. To the US listeners, we will hopefully do something sometime soon for you guys as well, maybe like an Amazon gift card or something, so stay tuned for more contests. Speaking of listeners, I want to give the biggest thank you to our Patreons. And there's a plural on that, people, because we got another Patreon. Number 1, I want to say thank you to Tyler. He's in at our $10 level on Patreon. That gets a ding, of course. Thank you so much, Tyler, for your support. Hope to learn more about you really soon so we can figure out why someone wants to listen to a bunch of drunk Canadians up here. What I do know about Tyler is he is in the States and he does run a bar, which is very appropriate for Intoxicated. And during his downtime, he checks out the show, says he's been hooked since the Canada Day episode. Can't believe someone got hooked on the show based on the Canada Day episode, but I'm so happy that you are. We're so stoked to have you as a Patreon, Tyler. And just today, we got a second Patreon, and that gets a ding, and I want to give a huge thank you to Zohoney. And I'm saying that because I happen to know this Patreon. She's a friend of mine. She's an awesome person. Actually, when her and I met, I was just like, she's my soul sister. And she came in at the $15 level. She will be taking advantage of our bar staff level. When I saw this, my jaw actually dropped to the floor. I cannot say thank you enough to both of you guys for coming in at like such high reward levels. We are shocked. We never thought anyone would go that high. We were like hoping for like, some $1, some $2, but it's so freaking cool to see people like the show enough to contribute. I promise your money is going to go back into the podcast. We are going to make it even more awesome thanks to people like you. So holy crap, thank you so much for signing up. Just wow, I'm absolutely blown away. So can't say thank you enough. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about becoming a member on Patreon, make sure to check out our page. You can check out the different reward levels. There's everything from $1 to $20. You can also just sign up and not give anything. That's super cool too. Really, this is just another way to connect with our listeners, see who's a fan, and find out more about you guys. Make sure you are following the podcast on all social media. That is Facebook and Instagram, Intoxicated Podcast. On Twitter at @in_toxicated. We have a Gmail as well. If you want to send any questions or feedback to us on that, you certainly can do so. And that is intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts to both Intoxicated Podcast and Intoxicated Reviews. Anyways, that was a doozy of an intro. I'm gonna shut up and get to this episode all about weddings with my good friends, Rebecca and Mary. But guys, let's just fucking get her going, eh?
Yeah, weddings.
Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast, everyone. I'm here with 2 friends today. I'm so happy to be here with my friend Mary.
Hi.
This is Mary. I've known Mary since college. Early college.
The
beginning stages of college.
The beginning of everything.
The beginning of it all. And Rebecca, who I used to work with at an unnamed place.
All of the unnamed places.
So many unnamed places.
We're so mysterious.
Yes. Ooh. So guys, today's topic is weddings. And this is really cool because we have Mary on, who is a bride-to-be very soon, 2 months away.
Crunch time.
It's crunch time. It's go fucking time. So this is the right time to do the show.
It is.
The next 2 months are gonna like fly.
Like,
you're gonna blink.
No pressure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I'm kind of getting that sense, and I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta go do that. I thought about this 5 months ago, didn't get around to it. You know, I should probably go do that now. So yeah,
She's really stressed. It's coming out already.
seriously, we can go through your list later, and I can tell you what actually needs to be done and what doesn't. And then
Oh yeah.
yes, I love this.
that doesn't even have to be on mic, but I'll like happy to go through that with you.
That's
You gotta
amazing.
go.
Well, no listeners want to hear
That's
that.
a good transition. Rebecca is a wedding planner.
Woo!
Are you a wedding? Like, you're more of an event planner who does weddings.
I'm
right?
an event planner who does weddings.
Yeah.
And my official title is event coordinator.
Okay.
So the services that I work with couples with right now are mainly month of planning, and then I'm there the entire wedding weekend to make sure everything goes fine. But I work with couples sometimes a year and a half out. I just don't offer the full services that a wedding planner would. So I don't hire other vendors for them. Well, sometimes I help them with decor, but I don't do the full planning gamut. Just mainly
They do all that stuff on
coordinating
the side, and then you just put it all together in the end.
And your juice would be the day of, right?
Yes.
That's where your juice is. That's a weird thing to say.
The juice.
The juice of the job.
The champagne, what?
Yeah.
Ooh, we're drinking champagne. Okay,
Yes.
so there's a couple things I want to say before we cheers. Rebecca brought a goddamn cake. So she's already in the loop for an InTalksicated award next year.
Yes.
There's an awards.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
doing awards?
Oh, yeah, there is awards.
Oh, like red carpet and everything?
At every year point. So I just had one, but you're going to slip in for next year.
You
for
want
best,
some help planning
best guest gift or something? I don't even really know. But you brought a friggin' cake, and it's amazing.
a gorgeous cake.
And I'm going to post it on Instagram.
You can't have weddings without cake unless you don't like cake.
In which case, like,
And then
who
there's
are
Do whatever you want.
and what are you doing with your life? But we're also drinking a very lovely champagne that Rebecca also brought, and she brought glasses and everything.
So fancy.
So she's making a good impression
gotta be
already.
prepared.
Bring it in for cheers.
Clinky, clinky.
Cheers. Clink, clink. Hopefully that picked up. Yeah, this is delightful too.
Not
It's
a
really,
fan.
really good champagne. Like, it's light.
It's not
It
too
doesn't-
dry either.
Yeah. How much alcohol is in this? Let's see. It is Villa Conchi?
Post a picture on Instagram.
Yeah. It's a champagne, okay? We are,
It's delicious.
11.5%.
Excellent.
That is not bad.
I remember finding out Nova 7 was like 5% and being like,
What?
why the fuck do people drink this?
It's actually 5%?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6.
I almost bought that. Well, I guess now I'm not buying it.
This is delicious.
I mean,
Go for the percentage, people.
if you like it, you like it.
Oh, yeah.
But
But for $25?
you might as well be drinking like sparkly juice.
Yeah. With an eyedropper drop of vodka. Like,
and let me tell you, that does not taste good coming up. Like, champagne is the worst thing to puke.
I don't
I
think.
find.
Maybe I
Maybe
have.
not. Beer and garlic fingers is the worst thing to puke up.
Okay, no, tomato sauce. Like, if you had a tomato-based dinner, that's bad.
Or
the
anything
citrus.
with like Coke, and it looks like you're dying because it's all black,
Yes,
and you're like, oh my god, what's
That happened to me
happening?
once.
Oh yeah.
I can never do but vodka.
Vomiting actually transitions good into what I was going to say, which is...
Oh, wonderful.
We do friendship origins at the top of the show with new guests. So Mary and I know each other from college, from a university here in Halifax. And we met like first year, like first semester. We were in the
First year.
same Spanish class, I think. Is that how we met?
I never took
Was
Spanish.
it Spanish? Or was it...
Girl, I never took Spanish.
Definitely not Spanish.
No, we were in PR when we first started.
Right,
we
but
were
I
in
thought
PR.
it was Spanish class that we actually met.
I like that you took
Maybe it was
Spanish
French.
class.
Oh, I did too.
It might have been French because I never took Spanish.
I never took French.
Maybe you
shit.
both did so
Maybe
poorly
we never-
because it was the opposite class.
Maybe we never met at all.
What? How did we? I think we were in like PR, or like Amy Thorough.
Oh yes, yeah,
What's
yeah,
her
yeah.
face?
Foundation to PR, or whatever
That's
it was.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we lived in the same res building. You were 3rd floor.
Yeah.
I was 5th floor.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But like we kind of had phases in our friendship. I found like we were really close at first.
Yes.
And then we kind of segmented off of it because I think you left PR at some point.
I left PR. It wasn't for me. And then what did I do?
Business?
No, what did I do? What did I do again? No, I did like a general BA, and then I went to MUN for a year, a university in Newfoundland. Right. Yeah, super cheap tuition. Yeah. I lived at home for 1 year. It was like a 20-minute walk, and I paid $2,500 for 1 academic year. It was a great ridiculous. School. It's, oh my God, unreal. And I was just like, seriously, that's it.
I've heard like at the end, if you doesn't match your class schedules though, it can be hard to find the classes. We have a kid now at work who's there, and he had to do most of his online for his last year. Still went back to Newfoundland though, because why not?
It's a good school. Like MUN is huge, and so coming from the Mount was like, oh my God, there's so many guys here. Yeah, because the Mount was mostly women.
But you landed a boyfriend at the Mount.
I did.
So fuck you.
Same program, same degree. Yeah.
That's right. I remember that. And I made out with his friend once, and it was just like making it with a hollow mouth. He didn't use any tongue. Your ex had a friend visit one night.
Like it was a scared tongue? Like a turtle? Like recessing back into his mouth?
Wait, no, my ex.
No mouth. Like no tongue. It was like a hollow, nothing going on there at all. Yeah. I forget his name, but he had a hollow mouth, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was just like, because I'm such a tongue person when I kiss.
Yeah.
And like, there was nothing there. And it was very disappointing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a school full of girls.
School full of girls. So when I went to MUN, I was like, oh, holy crap. There's guys everywhere. I remember standing, it was a beautiful day, and I was standing outside. I'm like, there's boys everywhere. At this point, I was single. So I was just like, all right then. Anyway, then I started dating Mark.
Your now fiance.
My now fiance.
Soon to be hubby.
Oh my gosh. I found it sounds so weird when I'm gonna be when I think that I'm gonna be married, like a married lady. It hit me the other day, and I was like, oh my God, because you think about it as you're growing up. You think about it like with people you date or just going through life. You go to weddings. You're like, oh, that'll be me someday. But when it's I'm like, and this might sound cheesy, but I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like to me, I'm just like,
I mean, it is something that's kind of engraved in you at such a young age as a girl.
Oh, it's one of those, it's a life milestone to get married.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
And even if you haven't, like, I imagined weddings in a, like, wedding planning way. Like, my mom and I used to play a card game where we would, on long car trips, we'd, like, plan different theme weddings.
Ooh.
I can only remember specifically a sailing one. It was very cheesy, but there was, like, sailing outfits, and it was on a boat, and so I've like planned weddings pretty much with everyone I've dated in terms of an event way, but never really thought I'd actually marry anyone until my husband and I were like planning to get married.
Right.
And even then it's still weird.
Wow.
It's fun though. To say husband is really fun. You're gonna love it.
Well, like there's been times where he'll be introducing, or he'll say, oh, my wife, like he'll say that, and I'm like, fiance, hello.
Even before it's
who are you married to?
What? I think that's a good thing.
It is. For me, I like to stick with, I'm like, okay, fiance, then hubby, but then I'll sometimes say hubby. Yeah. I'm like, that's hubby, or if you're on the phone with someone, like I don't know, you're paying a bill, or I don't know.
Like someone
and
who
they're
doesn't
like,
really know
oh,
you.
my husband, he's not home. It's a lot easier to say that than fiance.
Fiance is such a pretentious word.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. I hated saying it because you're like, it feels like you're bragging. And then again, I
get that feeling too.
I've known girls in my life and she didn't even marry this guy, wasn't even engaged to him. She was like in her late 20s, and she would refer to her live-in boyfriend as her fiance to like, anytime they were like, I don't know, ordering furniture, very classy, like very like not like ordering furniture, or like going to pick something up, be like, oh yeah, my fiance, because she didn't want to say boyfriend. I'm like, oh, I felt I was the exact opposite when I was engaged. I didn't want to say fiance because it
felt weird.
Yeah, it feels weird. And then like when we first got it, I was like, oh, boyfriend, and then I'd be like, no, wait, fiance, like that. There's a transition I find, and now I'm just like,
fuck it. Yeah, you're a guy
that I love. That I want.
You're 2 months out. Like,
I know.
You gotta get used to saying that at some point.
It's gonna be husband.
Hubby.
Yeah.
I like to say hubby.
And
it has a good ring to it.
Friendship origin with Rebecca is, like, we just work together. Honestly, like, and I said this to you today, I feel like Rebecca is someone, like, I should have been closer with. Like, I feel like we always got along at work when we used to work together. And then I left because I got laid off from there. And, like, we stay connected. And we always chat, like, kind of on Facebook through comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of one of those things of, like, as an adult, it's hard to, like, create friendships sometimes because you're like, we're all so fucking busy, you know what I mean? But there's certain people that are like, I should have been closer with you. You know what I mean? And so this podcast...
Bringing us together.
And you work in weddings, so my initial thought was, how fucking cool would it be to bring Mary and Rebecca on and have you guys talk and, like, let's just talk about weddings, because
I was excited.
I'm a terribly single person who's bitter, but I love weddings, and I'm sorry. I know that not everyone does. If you don't, just don't listen to this episode. Or listen. Still listen.
This is gonna get good.
Yeah.
But, like, I have so much fun at them. And it's weird being, like, someone who's kind of bitter and, like, kind of has this, like, kind of tainted view of love. Yet, from an event perspective, I love weddings. They are the ultimate party.
Fun. They are the ultimate party.
That's what it is.
Like, why?
Yeah.
I have to
Why
add
not
this,
embrace a
that
party?
yours, that Sarah is actually one of my bridesmaids.
I'm a bridesmaid at Mary's
She's
wedding.
a bridesmaid. When I was thinking about who I was going to ask, I was like, okay, don't have a really big friend pool. However, who's always been there for me?
Aww.
Who have I known the longest? And you've always been there for me. Like,
You've always been there for me.
Yeah, like, and as you were saying, like, in our little how do we know each other, our friendship has kind of gone in waves.
Yes.
But in the end, there's been times it's like, I need to talk to you. I need help with this. We're there for each other. And I was like, you know what? Like, So I was like, oh,
I'm so honored. I love being a bridesmaid. Like, I'll make jokes all day long. Never a bride, always a bridesmaid. Meh, meh, meh. But it's so much fucking fun. I actually really love being a bridesmaid. You get to wear a hot dress. You get to party. You get to be kind of like, you're kind of...
Oh, you're totally special as a bridesmaid.
Showcased a bit.
Totally special.
100%. And I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
I've
honored
never
to
been
do
a bridesmaid.
Oh. You will be in my imaginary wedding that never happens.
Well, when it does, let me know.
I can't remember the date off my head. I was going to be like, July this date and this date. We're getting you in.
Rebecca made a
Pop-up
comment.
Pop-up wedding.
Pop-up wedding.
Yeah, Rebecca made a comment earlier that, like, where she works, it's a very nice place, and that there's, like, one weekend in July that's opened. And I made a joke of, I'll take it! I just need to find a guy to do it.
Mail order groom.
I'm glad to hear that you like being a bridesmaid.
I enjoy it.
I have some friends who don't, and it breaks my heart. And I'm like, if somebody asks you to be a bridesmaid,
That's an honor.
It is.
Is it
But
not?
if you can't do it, you can't, it's not going to be fun, you're not going to enjoy it, you have other stuff going on, you let people know.
Yes.
And you say, hey, I'm honored, I really appreciate it, but I don't think I can do this for you.
Or another good way to do it too is be like, okay, well, think about what concerns me about being a bridesmaid. Like, what are why don't I want to be one? And then say that to your friend who asked you. And if they're like, well, I don't really care about that anyways, I just want you to be there up there to support me, then that's fine.
Exactly.
It's all about honesty. Like I know people who, like, don't feel comfortable wearing gowns or dresses. And, like, that's why they say, like, I'm so honored, but, like, just so you know, I don't like wearing dresses. And then, like, the bride be like, well, you can wear a really nice pantsuit.
Is that really a thing?
I actually asked a guy to stand for me for my wedding, and he said no, and it, like, broke my heart.
Oh,
his wife stood for me instead, which was totally awesome. Loved them both equally.
Yeah.
But it made me so sad, and it was because he was uncomfortable standing with a bunch of girls. And he was like, and he's like, oh, I'll stand with Joe if, like, you know, if that would be okay. And at the time, Joe didn't have a groom's lady. Right. But he ended up asking a girl to stand for him. And of course, she said yes.
That's
and I'm
so
just
cool.
still a little like...
So is this one of, like, your... This is obviously a close guy friend?
Yeah, super close guy friend.
Okay.
Like, I'm like I said, I'm equally close with his wife now, stood for her in their wedding, was so honored to do it, was so pumped, but I was kind of like...
My cousin,
on,
his wife, who I refer to as my cousin now too, because she's so cool. She had a bridesman, or I don't know what...
Bridesman?
Yeah.
Bridesman?
Yeah.
Bridesman?
Yeah, bridesman.
I was just like, oh, that's really cool. And in some of the pictures, I think there was one, he was holding the flowers on the beach and all the girls were in the water. So it looked cute.
Yeah.
I was just like, but yeah, no, it was really neat. And I like that because it's like, you know what, if you have someone in your life that is of the opposite, have who you want.
Do what you want.
Do what you want.
Ooh, that's a really good point. Yes. Do what you want.
Do what makes you happy.
I think that was a main... So I posted on Facebook, like... send me your comments, questions, like really anything about weddings. Mm-hmm. And so many people wrote, like, at the end of the day, it's your fucking day.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you want and not care about anyone else.
The industry's changing so much, and that's the best part about it, is that it is becoming more of like, there isn't this expectation, there isn't... Seriously, by the time our kids are getting married, it'll be a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome.
Like, when we first started this whole planning, I was really stressed. I was like, oh my gosh. I was considering other people. I'm a type of person, I think about others. I think about others before myself.
100%.
I've now reached the point of like, it's my day. You don't like it, there's the door. And
like it's a ding!
Oh, yeah, it totally gets a ding.
Yeah. And Mark, he was always trying to reiterate that to me. He's like, it's our day.
It's your day.
Our wedding. We're going to have fun. We're going to be drunk by the end of the night. It is going to be a good time. Uh-huh. Like, yeah, do what we want.
And that's the thing. Weddings are so different
getting really heated
for everyone. And it doesn't matter. And everyone has their own opinion. And that's the thing. No matter what the wedding is, if I get invited to a wedding, I'm going to have the fucking time of my life. Like, I don't care if you're having a little courthouse situation and then like a little party at a bar, I'll do that. If you're doing like a I went for a destination wedding to my good friends in Mexico. That was fucking amazing because it was so stress free, and like, yeah, you had to pay $1,500 to get there, but you were on vacation the whole time. You were drunk the whole time.
$1,500 for a vacation. Like, you can spend that much going to a wedding that's like a city over by the time you're paying
like
for all
your
the
flights,
trips
your
and
hotels,
drabs and
yeah. There's so many different.
That's not a bad deal.
There's so many different kinds of wedding. Now, I want to know about your wedding.
Yes.
Tell me everything. So where was it? What was it? What was it like?
So my wedding was where I work, which was awesome because I got great deals, but also super trippy. Like, imagine inviting all of your friends and family to work for the weekend.
That's good point.
Interesting.
It was weird.
Because you're like probably in your head going like, these people aren't doing this, and like, this isn't where it should be, and like...
yeah, there were those moments. And then there was just the moments of like, okay, this is like, work is... For me, because I'm a wedding coordinator, work is a very personal thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm there, I give like everything to it, I work crazy long hours, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I have really close relationships with all the people I work with. And so to have all of like my family and friends kind of like all come in all at once was crazy.
Damn, I bet.
But super nice too to have the work people there to like have a like real life break.
Right.
Because, not that my friends and family aren't real life people, but because I live like 2 provinces over from where I grew up, it's kind of like I don't see all these people all the time. So to have them all here was like super trippy, super weird. So it was nice to be able to go to like the people I work with and be like, okay, reality break for 5 minutes. Like, what's going on here?
They're like your anchors. They're your anchors.
They were my anchors to the whole thing. Like, my wedding party was fantastic. I couldn't have asked for better. But it was nice to have those people all there.
Yes. That kind of center you, and they're like, this is all a lot, but like, whew, deep breaths.
Yeah. And we had a full wedding weekend where most of our guests stayed over Friday night, Saturday night. We had a huge rehearsal dinner, big lobster boil, and then a campfire where one of my husband's cousins got super drunk and kept trying to lead camp songs because he had just worked at the summer camp that my husband and I met at when we were 15. The worst was... Oh, no, definitely not dating since we were 15, though. Lots of people in between.
It's cute, though.
Lots of people in between.
Ooh. I should have you on for another podcast, a different topic. Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay.
But I was embarrassed. Like, these camp songs were terrible. And his mom was drunk and, like, encouraging him.
Oh,
and, like,
my gosh.
I'm just like, he can't remember words, can barely stand up. These, like, there was,
Slurring.
like, 4 teenage to, like, just drinking age cousins, and they stole the show the whole weekend. They were hilarious and awesome and fun.
There's one thing about your wedding that I want to bring up, because I wasn't there, but I saw pictures. And one picture in particular that I want to talk about.
Like, I didn't even post the bad ones on social media.
No, there's a picture.
I feel like I need to go creep you right now.
Profile. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But you, like, you're walking down the aisle, I think with your husband, and you look like it's the most joyous moment. Aww. Like, you have this look on your face of, like, I don't know if you're laughing at something or you're just unbelievably happy, but it is I just look at that and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is what every bride should feel like on their like.
Oh, Mary, it's embarrassing. There's like, it's just all open face smiles.
It's
like every photo is just like.
I feel like that's gonna be me.
Yeah,
it is. Look at you smiling now.
Yeah, see, like it's like you're just so damn happy, and it really came across in the picture. And it doesn't matter if it's this like really fancy, like filtered out, like. Fancy picture. Like, to me, that's a better picture because it's genuine.
And it's not even from our wedding photographer. It's
really?
From one
an
of my,
iPhone,
like,
probably.
Yeah, probably from an iPhone from one of my really good guy friends. He just, like, snapped it, and I stole it from Instagram later.
Aw.
It's it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like, yeah, like, that's what you should be feeling when you're walking down that aisle.
It's gonna sound cheesy as hell, but I felt super awkward the whole day. And super weird and super, like, not myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Until I saw my husband. Like, until I saw Joe. Like, we went and did photos before the ceremony.
Oh, okay, nice.
And it was just like, well, because it's weird. There's all this, like, attention on you. All these things are going on. All your family. Like, it's not like a regular day.
No, there's nothing regular about it.
And everybody deals with it differently. Everyone thinks about it differently. Everyone's experience is different. But for me, I was, like, super weirded out. And then I saw Joe, and we went and got some portrait photos done. Because if we didn't do it before, we weren't going to do it after.
That's really... I like that idea a lot.
Man, you get a private... Like, we didn't even do it for the fun first look photos because my husband's not the type... Like, he could care less if I'm in a wedding dress. Like, he really, like, was not... He didn't care, wasn't excited about that part. But it was so nice for us to, like, have just, like, 45 minutes semi-alone. Like, our photographer was there.
But then you don't have your bridal party, you don't have your family, you don't have...
It's just...
all these
my
people.
God, it was amazing.
It's a private... It's like a... What I compare it to is, like... It's a Jim and Pam moment. So The Office... So, spoilers for The Office. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Don't listen, like, skip ahead 2 minutes if you haven't seen The Office. But, like, with Jim and Pam... Yeah,
see The Office right now.
Yeah, stop listening to this podcast, go watch The Office, then come back, then we'll continue.
Right at this, there'll be timestamps below. But, like, they had a wedding planned, and they, like, scooted off to Niagara Falls and had a little private moment before the actual public ceremony. Yeah. And there's something about that I really love, because that first moment...
married.
Yeah.
They went and got married, and then
came back and did it for everybody else, because really, like, at the end of the day, that ceremony is... Yeah, totally. Exactly. And I just love that moment of, like, you're seeing each other for the first time, you're marrying each other, and it's just you guys.
Yeah.
And there's something about that that's, like, super special to me. I don't know.
And honestly, once you've actually gotten married, and everyone else is going having fun, having drinks, talking at cocktail hour, you want to be with them.
Yeah,
you don't.
That's true.
There was actually once a moment where it was a bride and groom from out of town, and it was a one-day wedding. It wasn't like a full weekend. And they arrived, and I mean, like, the groomsmen were like, they drank a 2-4 of expensive scotch during the 20-minute rehearsal.
Oh my
God.
Like,
they were having a good time. And we do this group photo right after the wedding, and they're doing, like, some portraits, and I'm, running around doing stuff, and I'm holding stuff near the bride and groom, and the bride's like, okay, I want to get some more photos by the water, and the photographer's like, okay, whatever you want, like, and the groom's like, do we have to? And he's like, I really just want to go, like, hang out with my friends, and I'm, like, standing there, like, losing my shit. Thank God his mom was there. His mom's like, taps him on the shoulders, like, it's your fucking bride's day. She wants some more photos, you go take some more photos.
I would have smacked him.
Seriously, he was almost pouting, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was fuming. I actually thanked his mom after. I'm like, I'm really glad you said that. I didn't it's not my place to say something like that. Well, the look on the bride's face
must have been just like
she couldn't really like
just give me this.
She didn't she didn't get the full like
extent of it
because he wasn't really asking her. He was more like lamenting and complaining.
Oh, right. Which, I mean, I don't know if I like the phrase that it's the bride's day. Like, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong when I say that. Like, I think the bride, I mean, come on. It kind of is.
It kind of
is.
But
it's also the groom's, it's a the couple's day. It's
but
the couple's day.
I completely agree with that.
Talk about this stuff in advance and know and plan for it so that you can have special things for each other.
Yeah, it's like, well, I want to do this. Well, okay, I want to do that. Great, we'll do this, and this.
I'll let you go get drunk with your friends, but give me my goddamn waterfront beautiful picture that I want.
And then,
please, thank you.
Yeah, like, take the time for each other.
Yeah, it's a day of celebrating the two of you.
100%.
As a bride-to-be.
Yes.
I'm like, it's about me.
And,
I'm on a roll here. No, but then at the same time, I want it to be just about as much about Mark as I do about me. I'm like, no. Like, he's the one that put a ring on it. Like,
he's part of this.
He is, So the bride in me is like, it's me.
Not a problem.
I mean, he's
not a problem.
Walking,
but at the same time, I'm like, no, this is about Mark and I.
Yeah.
100%. Equal.
It's your guys' day.
Absolutely.
It's a love and respect thing. Like, you wouldn't want to make him uncomfortable any other day. So why would you want to make him uncomfortable just because it's your wedding and it's something you really want? Like,
well, and
what was I want to actually get into, and one thing I will say on that note, my favorite weddings are the weddings that you walk into and you're like, so let's just say you walk into a random hotel and there's a wedding and you don't see the bride and groom and you walk in and you're like, that's Mary and Mark's wedding, or that's so-and-so's wedding. Like, I like when the wedding is personalized to the couple.
Oh.
Whether that be through little details, decor, or like feel, or like music. I don't even know. Like, there's so many things that go into it.
There's
the vibe. And you walk in and you're like, this is them in a wedding. This is them in an event. Those are my favorite weddings. I love them.
My cousin her wedding was amazing. The ceremony was in their backyard in Antigonish County, just outside of Antigonish. And beautiful backyard wedding. It poured that morning, but I guess that's good luck on a wedding day.
Yeah, Alanis Morissette was wrong.
I'm sorry, it's in Nova Scotia. You can never, like...
Yeah, you're pretty much gonna get rain.
Weather is weather. There's
I might get
you
snow.
Can do.
Who knows?
June, yeah.
But her wedding was so nice, and then we get to the reception, and there were certain things that had bits of them.
Yes.
And I will always remember that.
Right?
And yeah, no, it totally does.
It's
that hers in particular I can definitely relate to in that sense.
Part of my spiel, and I say so many cheesy things in my job. I also say there's like a million things that are the favorite thing about my job. And I know I say a million things, but I love them all.
Yeah.
Every couple who comes to the property I work at, they bring their own vibe. Their family and friends. Like, it's a totally different place with every person who gets married there. And I love that. Like, I love seeing them transform it and make it their own and treat it like home. I don't ever want people to feel like, oh, we're just here, like, to be here. No, I want people, like, splayed out on the couches and moving furniture around.
Kick your shoes off.
Exactly. Make yourself comfortable. Feel at home. Like, you're celebrating something that's so personal. Like, you shouldn't feel like you're just another, like, cog in a machine.
And that's the thing. And as someone who goes to a lot of weddings, because girls single, real single, whatever you're doing, maybe it's not for me, but I'm honored to be there and be part of it for you. Like, and that's what makes a good wedding guest, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it totally does.
Like, whether you're someone who believes in marriage or doesn't, or maybe you're someone who wants to get married but only wants to have, like, maybe a courthouse legal situation, which is totally fucking fine.
Yeah.
But, like, when you get invited to someone's wedding, if they're a couple that you are friends with, you go and you have you get into it. Oh, yeah. Because that's them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's just how I see it. Because, like, I don't know if I'll have a wedding. Who fucking knows? I still love them, though. And I'm still going to go and dance a lot.
Oh, it's early years, girl. You could still have, like, 3 or 4 weddings.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for the Mr. X McClellan.
Yes.
Wait, did I say that right?
Do you want to take his name or?
Clearly not. He's clearly taking hers.
I was gonna say, I'm like, is this how it's? Yeah, girl, you go.
Yeah,
that's a whole other subject. Are you gonna take your husband's last name?
This is the thing.
Your husband to be's last name.
My husband to be. This is the thing. My first name, Mary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mark's last name, Barry.
Is Barry? She'll be Mary Barry. Yes. That's a ding.
So
I mean, you don't have to do it, but
no. Here's the thing.
But you should do it.
Oh, and someone told me this joke once, and I have always said, like, so I'd be Mary Barry, and if we moved to Sweden, we'd have little Swedish berries.
Oh my god.
So, Mark, we have to go to Sweden and
have some babies.
No, so I thought about this. I thought about it.
Yeah.
I would love to take his name. I would love to be the Mrs., but...
Well, you can still be the Mrs. without taking someone's name.
No, but then...
Mrs.
Mary Barry, I mean, I don't think people will take me seriously. But I'm going to hyphenate.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to hyphenate it so it would be Madalena Barry. And I think it has a nice ring
I
to
actually
it.
think that sounds really nice.
Yeah. And my dad, I think at one point he was like, I love my last name. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be conceited or anything. But Dad's like, I would like you to, like, it's a good name. Like,
yeah.
I think he said that. I could totally be making this up. Sorry, Dad.
I mean, it's his. Yeah.
But I want to have that part of Mark there.
Yeah.
Like, our kids will be berries. Okay, that's cool. I'm totally
You could
fine
totally
with that.
hyphenate that last name.
I've already practiced.
Because it's MB. MB is so much fun to say as
MB.
a, like, fun hyphenated.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with a girl whose last name was, like, Smith something very long with an E. Mm-hmm. And so people called her SE all the time. As a, like,
cute.
nickname, or, like, they called her
MB,
name was
I
Sarah,
like
so
that.
it'd be Sarah S.E.
Ooh.
It was awesome. And I'm
Ooh,
always
I like the
when
MB thing. Like, can we start this?
I feel
Yes.
like I can just see it on the door of a law firm.
And I don't have any
Mary
intentions of...
MB.
and it's one of those things where it's like, you see people with hyphenated names now in really high positions. We were watching something... Like, I mean, it was the U.S., so anyone who's, like, in the White House in the U.S. is of, like, suspicious nature right now. But someone had, like, a hyphenated last name, and I was like, fuck yeah, like, that's a thing now. Like, you can be, like, it doesn't make you less of a person, it doesn't make you less...
No.
It's just
You
life.
do what you want.
There was one night I was having some drinks, sitting at the computer desk. Mark has his computer desk. He's a gamer. Anywho, so he was in the basement or he was away or something, and I had a notepad and paper. I like to doodle or whatever. Mm-hmm. I started practicing writing Mrs. Mary Madalena Barry, and he found them. And he's like, that's so cute. It was really cute, and I do it off and on. Like, I like to practice my signature. I want it to be a damn good signature.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I got this down.
I love it.
I didn't practice at all, and it's like, I'm always like...
Do you ever, like...
I love Mark. I've done
bit?
that. Mary and Mark forever. Yeah, I've done that. Because I'm 5.
You're married. Did it take you a long time to, like on the form?
Still not used to it.
Did you change
Really? I did.
Yeah.
And I don't want to blame my parents, because I don't think, but my mom never changed her last name.
Right.
And so, I don't know, part of me just wanted, like, I just like the idea of us having the same last name.
Yeah.
Right.
It sucks. My, like, maiden name is badass. It's Novix, which is, like, there's 5 in the entire, 4 now, in the entire country of Canada.
You're like a superhero.
Super random.
What,
super,
really?
Damn.
Yeah. It's like,
that's too cool.
it's, like, super uncommon, and I, like, love it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. For me, it was, like, super special and nerdy, and
it's your call.
It's
like
totally
that's the
your
thing.
call.
Like that's the thing. Everyone is different, and you got to respect other people for what they decide, and you got to do what you want.
There's so many people that get married and they take their husband's last name. Wonderful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't.
I probably wouldn't, just because I'm
it's hard. 30
too
years of
feminist
one
woke right now.
and 30 years of one name. You're like,
Yeah,
Dude,
who is
I
this
can't.
other person? Like, what is this thing I have to
Yeah.
learn now? What is you become?
But then
your
you
own,
got to change
careers,
everything and like all that stuff. I'm like, okay, there's certain things. Yes, I'll change my driver's license, my passport, all that jazz. But some things like I'm probably not gonna. I don't know. I see these things on these wedding pages on Facebook, and it's like, okay, where do I have to change this? And I'm like, oh, I really should read these. I'll get around to it.
Yeah, get around to it. It's actually not that crazy.
I don't think it is. I'm just,
Damn. Okay.
But yeah.
I have a question. Well, I have a couple questions. I want to know, because you started telling it before we turned on the mics. Engagement stories. So you go
first.
So
Rebecca
Mary,
is
you go
so
first,
excited
and then
to
I
hear
want
this.
yours. Yeah. So we're
first?
taking turns.
Okay.
You go first.
So, little, I would drag this out. I apologize. So,
Editing.
Well, no, it's just I like to tell the nice long version of it so everyone gets all the good deets. Anywho, so Mark is in the military. So he was getting ready to go away on course. And so one day he was off. I was like, and I was going to work, and he says to me one morning, he's like, so I think I'm going to go down to Greenwood for the day. I got to pick up something, a book that I need for course that my best friend, who is Rebecca as well, her husband has it. Rebecca's my maid of honor too. And so I got to go get that. I was like, okay, cool. Like, didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, I wish I could go with you because I got to go see my bestie. But got to go to work, got to be a big girl here. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to go down. I'm like, okay, didn't think anything of it. So I go to work. That particular day, I had left a little earlier, had to go up and get something, and then I caught an earlier bus. I think it was an earlier bus. Yeah, anyway, so I get home, and Mark's a pretty casual guy. He's a sweatpants and hoodie kind of guy. He is. And
shut up, Mark. If you're listening.
Oh, he'll listen. I'll make him listen. I will sit there and hold the headphones over his head.
You're coming on at some point, dude.
He's probably going to. So I'm walking. We lived in the PMQ housing here in Halifax, and was going up the stairs, and all of a sudden the door flies open. I'm like, hi. And he's still dressed in his t-shirt and like khakis. I'm like,
real clothes.
Those
aren't
why are you
clothes.
wearing clothes?
That's what I thought. I was like, why are you still? And I didn't say anything. And he's standing there, and I'm coming up, and he's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, good. How was Greenwood? He's like, good. And I'm taking my stuff off, and he's standing there. I'm like, okay. Like, normally he'd be in his computer room. Usually I have to, like, get his attention to say, hey, I'm home. But he came to the door and dressed in, like, normal clothes. And he's like, so I have something for you. I said, oh, okay. And this was it was leading up to Valentine's Day. So the day it happened was February 12th. And so my friend Rebecca, she bakes. She's a wonderful baker. And all other Valentine's Day, she's always made like little cookies or something like that. Like, she's very creative in that sense.
Treats for the win.
Yep, treats for the win. So Mark's like, well, I have something here. And so I go out, and the table is clear. Not clear. It's clean. It's clean. I'm the type of person, I come in, I throw all my crap on the kitchen table. And there's a cookie bouquet and this little box. I'm like, oh, she sent that up for Valentine's Day. And Mark's like, okay, well, stand here. He puts me in front of the table.
Okay, at this point you must know. At this point you must know.
Yeah, you must know.
No,
Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Did you know at that point?
No, I was kind of panicking.
Have you guys been talking about getting married at all? Or like...
Well, I was always...
discussing it?
I was always the one like, I want to get married. And he's like, well... kept putting it off. Like, I was the one that was like, damn, friggin' put a ring on it. Like, let's go.
Beyonce, yeah.
Yeah. I did that for a little while and kind of let it go. This is where all the single ladies come in.
Yeah, I was singing to it in my head.
She's like dancing
single?
here.
Bitch, you're not single. Don't get me started on the single ladies song.
Okay.
She's not
so
single.
he puts me in front of the table and he's like, don't turn around. I said, excuse me, okay. So I'm standing in front of this box and I'm just like literally mind a blank. I have no idea. He says, open the box. I open the box. There are 4 little cupcakes that say, will you marry me? I turn around.
Yeah.
I turn around. He's on one knee. And I've never heard him
I love it when they do that.
I had never hear him speak so fast in his life. And he was kneeling, he was smiling at the ring, and I was like, man, I was.
Did you just gasp? Like, I want to know what was your reaction? Like, were you just like?
I was like, holy shit, this is happening, and I was so happy. I started crying, and I'm like, absolutely, like, I can't even remember what I said. I think I could have been fuck yeah for all I know, but I'm pretty sure it was like yes, and I hugged, kiss.
It's so cute.
The background of this story was. So at the time, Rebecca had this business. Her business was Sweet Mama. She's a mom of 3, so Sweet Mama. It was kind of cute. So her husband, Craig, him and Mark went to basic training together. So Craig comes home to Rebecca and says, oh yeah, so I've got this guy at work. He's interested in getting cupcakes made for his girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, have him send along an email. When she saw the email, she knew it was Mark. She was like, no! No way! They kept it a secret from me. So she was the one that made them. That was why he went down to Greenwood that day. Screw the binder. To get the cupcakes, drive them back. In the cookie bouquet that I was saying that was on the table. So there were cookies. And in behind, it was like, I love you. And then in behind was a cookie that she said yes. And so he pulled it out, and I was no good. I was like,
at that point, you'd just be like a puddle of like adorableness. Like, oh.
Yeah. So the first person I called was Rebecca. I was like, thank you so much for the cookies and cupcake. Like, I was no good. And she was like, yeah, it was.
It's like every friend's dream to be in on a proposal, I think.
I think
feel
so.
like,
heck yes.
I feel like 100% like, you're best friends with someone, you usually tell them everything, but this is one thing.
Oh yeah, she couldn't tell me. And she's like, I was
hard.
so, like, and she told me about it after, and I was just like, oh my God. I could not, I didn't know.
I remember the pictures, they're still on Facebook,
love the pictures.
Right?
I was just
so sweet.
I didn't want to eat the cupcakes, because I was like, I want to keep these forever. So I'm just like, oh.
Did you eat them?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, you can't
Those suckers are good.
Go to waste.
Those things are good. Ate all the cookies, and it was like...
Yeah.
That's
us. Adorable.
Yeah.
It's very,
that's really
it's
sweet.
very cute.
And, yeah.
Personal and private.
Yes.
Proposals should never be public.
No.
Unless there's already been many, many discussions about the fact that you're planning to get married.
Yes.
Also, if there's a flash mob.
Yeah, that's allowed.
Which, I mean, come on. Yeah. There's nothing in the stars for me, but like I would like a flash mob proposal. So, please and thank you.
To all the eligible bachelors out there.
Sarah wants
Flash mob proposal.
To what song though? I don't know yet.
Ooh. Obviously something by Katy Perry.
There's a song by The Bleachers. There's
actually
no.
Oh no,
hers.
No,
I got it.
It's not the right thing.
So The Bleachers, one of my favorite bands, they play a song called "Let's Get Married," and it's very fun and upbeat.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's great.
I once had a couple. There's a song by Panic at the Disco called "Death of a Bachelor."
Oh my God!
And it's like. It's pretty funny. I loved this couple. They live around the corner from me, and I used to wedding plan with them at their house with wine. It was pretty awesome.
That's the best way to wedding plan. That's the best way to wedding plan.
It was the best way to wedding plan. And
any booze with wedding planning is great.
To be such friends with some of the people who I get to work with, which I love. It makes it extra special.
That's super cool.
And I never expect to be it's one of those things where you're such a part of someone's day, but I know I'm not an important part. I'm there to support and make sure everything happens and it gets done.
But that's the thing. Sometimes without you, there might not.
Oh yeah, lots of shit didn't get done on my wedding.
That's the thing. That's so cool.
Nothing detrimental. Nothing detrimental. Nothing detrimental. Just stupid shit where you're just because I know I'm I wouldn't let this happen. I wouldn't let this happen.
Right.
Sarah, you're a planner, so you know this.
It.
Would you ever let a screen be projected just as a blue screen of a computer?
God.
No, you'd flick the little thing at the front that closes the projector.
Yeah, you don't want a blue screen.
Really, people do that. Really?
Yeah.
For it's an event where people are there. Yeah. Like a meeting at work with 5 people, no. But
when you're looking at it from an event planner perspective, the details matter. But I think
guests couldn't care less.
That's the thing at the end of the day. And they shouldn't stress the bride out. The bride should just be happy that she's getting married.
Yeah.
And
should not have a care in the world. It's the event planner's
job because they're getting paid to do so.
That's what I want.
Event planners are getting paid to be detail oriented. So they need to keep these things in check. But at the end of the day, it's like, don't sweat the small stuff, so they say.
Yeah.
And man, there's so many things that people get like so out of like whack about.
Yeah.
What alcohol are serving is like a huge thing. And
really,
I have like high-end people and they're like, well, no, the wine has to be really good. I'm like,
it's table wine.
It doesn't.
It's table wine.
If you're giving people wine for free, they don't care as long as it doesn't taste like shit.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. If it doesn't taste like shit, people don't care. They're like, oh my God, it's free. It's delicious. People are getting married. I love them. Like,
right?
That's all they care about.
Yeah.
But there's certain people and they're like, but no, I need to have something fancy. But wait, that costs too much money. And it's like, okay, well, what do you want?
And that's the thing. It's like, I feel like with certain couples or brides or couples, could be both, who knows, but there's certain details that they're like set on. And it's different details for every bride.
There's certain things that are
100%,
way more important. We figured this out. Some things we were just like, who cares?
Right.
For us, we didn't do a save the date. That other couples do that, great on them. We didn't want to have that extra expense.
Right.
And we were telling people anyways, like, hey, June 9th, boom, 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 boom.
Was June 9th? What?
Thank you. Random day. I looked at your calendar and I saw the 9th.
Sarah, better make sure you don't have anything else going on.
My Google Calendar will go off the day of the wedding and be like, you need to get at this wedding, bitch, you're a bridesmaid.
Shit. No, you're going to be at my house, yo. Like, you'll be at my house.
Oh, I'll be there.
Got you covered.
You better be at my friggin' house. Jesus. But yeah, certain things are like way more important.
Yeah.
Pictures, I think, are very important.
Ooh, that was a question I got on my Facebook status, which was, if you're going to splurge on something, what would be a good splurging thing to splurge on? And I actually agree. I think photography is huge.
Photography, absolutely.
That said, don't take the photography too seriously. Like, almost just let the photographer follow you around and just capture moments.
Like, we're getting
a
family friend to do ours.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We just thought, like, well, he did photography. He can do it. He takes really good pictures. But also, you don't want to break the bank.
No, and
like, I've heard and seen, and I'm like, what? Like, that's, to me, unreal.
And we're, like, Nova Scotia, we're still on the low end of the market.
Shut up, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Boy.
Like, go to Ontario, go anywhere out west. It's
even worse.
It's even worse.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I can't imagine.
One of my colleagues told me a story of a family friend who hired a photographer that was over $8,000.
What?
Just for the photographer. And, I mean, I do think photos are important. And I love photos. I'm this girl. I print out photos every Christmas and send people Christmas cards with photos in it.
Love it.
Because I know nobody prints out photos themselves.
Right.
I think photos are important. I love them. But how many wedding photos are you realistically going to look at?
Yeah.
Again and again?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
true.
the same way. I love pictures. Like, I'm already planning, like, I'm thinking, okay, I want to have this, like, them around my house, or I want to have them here or there, wherever.
It's so special around your house.
It is. My mom was in her cousin's wedding. And this was at the time before digital photography. So the photographer, click, 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 do all the pictures. The photographer didn't put film in the camera.
Yeah. Oh,
and I was just like, no.
Someone's getting fired.
So they probably had no photos from their
I don't
wedding.
know what happened in the end. I
How
never
the heck
asked.
do you mess that up?
I was just like, oh my God.
Like, no film?
I like the idea. You know what I love? When they put, like, disposable cameras or, like, Polaroids. Something about that just plays into my nostalgia, and I love it.
So, but the new version of that is the Instagram hashtag.
Oh, God.
But there's an even better way to do it. So we did this, and I totally stole it from another couple who did it. So there's a website,
about it.
I think it's called Slideshot. I'll look it up to, like, confirm exactly what it's called. There's different versions. You can pay for it. We just did it for free. You pick a hashtag. You set it up. It, like, a time parameter of when the posts were, like, posted on Instagram. And it will just do a roving loop of the photos. So for dinner, how much fun is it that, like, people can take photos, post them, and then they get
that is
show
so
up. And
cool.
they show up mid-dinner. And the one wedding I had where they did this, it was a small wedding, about 50 people, but they got super into it. Like, tables got into
amazing.
table wars, where it was like, they made signs, and it was like, the servers spit in table 2's food. Table 5 is the best table. Like, they even had me pose with them and, like, a sign about, like,
that's hilarious.
Even the property hates table 8. Like, it was just so much fun and so silly and ridiculous.
I would totally do
I like that, but I also don't like when people are, like, if you're at something or it's, like, the constant, like, oh, I'm gonna post this really quick. It's like, no, put your phone down, listen to what we're saying.
The years since cell phones first came out, I have been a banquet server. Even now in my, like, professional career, I still serve banquets sometimes because, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do at work.
Word.
I hate when people are on their phones at an event.
Yes.
Yeah. What the fuck? You don't need your phone there. Put it in your purse.
This
like
ceremony specifically.
So help me God, if I see someone on their phone in the ceremony, I
think the only person that would be on their phone at your ceremony would be me, and I'm in the wedding party, so I can't be.
No, you cannot.
And if I see you texting from behind the bouquet, I will.
Someone get your maid of honor to push her over.
Bitch, please.
No.
But seriously,
I get it. I do.
I think the only time it's okay is if you're like, they have like, there's a silly game where it's like you have to sing a song with love in it and people are looking up love lyrics. Or they're posting a photo really quickly just because it's going to be on the slideshow. Like, if it's interactive with the wedding, it's okay.
What about them taking pictures with their phone?
See, we're going along the lines of we'd rather not people like, I don't know.
For the ceremony... But let them do it when you're walking out because that's where that photo Sarah was talking about. That was a friend taking that
during
photo.
The ceremony. Just leave it to the photographer. Like,
that's true.
I'd rather have that. I don't want people getting up and like trying to get a good angle. It's like, no, that's what this person's here for. I'll send you the pictures,
and they're there for it. Exactly.
That's the reason they're there.
Exactly.
Paid for that.
Get the F out of their way. And like I've seen a lot of photographers like kind, gentle-souled people. Like, the hippiest of people. There's a photography couple in Halifax. Shout out to Topher and Ray Photography. They are just wonderful humans. They did HalCon. They were the official photographers of HalCon.
Amazing.
Like, delightful people. And I've, like, the only time I've seen one of them even get frustrated, the point was where, like, 8 people were in front of them during a ceremony. I'm like, you're not letting them do their job.
It's not about you. That's the thing about wedding guests. Like, you have to remind yourself. It's not about your picture or your shot or you at all. Like,
it's that photo.
Yeah. We're concerned about, like, we're going to be doing our pictures in the public gardens. People can come take, this is my theory. People can come take pictures, but don't ask me to look one way when I have the photographer telling me to do something different. If the photographer's taking pictures, heck, snap a picture in that same time. Don't be like, hey, look over here. Oh, look over here. I'd be like, no.
And
I'm looking here.
Be a normal person and creep the people in the public gardens from the trees like I do when I go in and wedding creep. I will walk on a summer day in Halifax on the weekend.
Are you going to come creep me, Rebecca?
I may. Actually, prom season is my best. My favorite used to be
I love prom season.
Walking home from the gym being like a sweaty, gross mess and there's all these like kids everywhere so fancily dressed up and you're like...
I love it so much. I will go in and specifically like be like, awesome. There's a wedding. I need to watch everything. I want to see what they're wearing. I want to see...
I've never done that.
Like, it's so much fun.
Okay, I'm doing that.
But I just... Oh my God. Rebecca, we didn't get to your engagement story.
I'm sorry.
So... I actually proposed to my husband.
You got 3 days.
Not in a fancy way. And I love an event. I love a party. I like something over the top. But this was just like, it was about time we got engaged. Like, we had been seriously talking about having kids, what we were going to do with our future, how our life was going to go for like 8 months to 2 years. Like, this was not... And in the last 6 months, it ramped up where it was like, almost weekly. We would have a serious discussion, really positive, fun. And I was getting, like, fed up. So we were in Ottawa at Blues Fest, checking out the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was a great show.
Nice.
It was raining. I may have been a little drunk. And I was like... I thought... This was about a week after my birthday. And I thought he might propose at my birthday. Like, you get in this, like, weird... it's been coined this, like, engagement, like, hot zone where, like, you think it's gonna happen. And so, like... And you start ruining special events because you get this anticipation and you think it's going to happen.
I've done that.
That sucks.
I'll get to that.
I can't imagine how much that sucks.
It's the worst. Like, you shouldn't ruin. There was the Christmas before this happened. So, like, a full 6 months earlier, I was frustrated with something. And Joe's like, oh, I want to show you one of your Christmas presents. Maybe it'll make you better. And he reached for his pocket, and I was like, oh my God, is he... And he was like showing me a cell phone cover he bought me. I was like, oh, well, definitely not a proposal, all right then.
And how did you react to that? Like, did you actually, like, was it just a tinge of disappointment, or was it a situation where you love actually it and went in the room and cried?
No,
over
at
the
that
expectation
point,
hangover.
At that point, it was a little, we weren't that close to it at that point where I was like feeling that expectation hangover. It was more like, oh shit, is he going to do this? Like, it made me super nervous. Totally would have said yes, was confident in our relationship, but it wasn't. It was like a slight bit of disappointment, but not that whole like crying,
That's good.
destroyed.
Really good. Yeah.
My birthday that year, I was a little like, my husband's terrible. Love him so much. He has so many good qualities. He's not good at like special occasions. He's not good at, like, making a big deal about things. Doesn't like his birthday himself, so he doesn't, like, go over the top. So I was a little crushed at the birthday. But then this next week when we were in Ottawa, I was a little drunk, so I was like, okay, what's the deal? Like, you know, I'm, like, trying to, like, feel him out. Like, do you think you might propose, you know, in the next, like, year? Can you give me that? Like, what can you give me? What can you give me? Like, and he was like, well, why don't you just ask me to marry you? And I was like... Oh no, I was so fucking frustrated. But like, you know, crowd of close to 10,000 people around us. Everyone's like walking the same direction. It's raining. It's dark. It's like, and I was like, what? Really? Like, didn't get down on one knee. Like, there was nothing romantic. There's no, and I was like, will you marry me? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, indignant. I was like, all right, but like, I don't know. Do you really mean it? Is this it? Like, and then I was like, okay, now you have to ask me so it's real. And so he did ask me. Again, not romantic, didn't get down on one knee. But he did ask me. So, yeah. So that was
I like it.
But as I was thinking, and you guys were talking earlier, I did remember there was a really cute moment that almost made me cry. And it was that Christmas before. So when I thought that like he was showing me the cell phone cover case he bought me. And I was like,
God, that hurts my soul so much.
But a couple days later was Christmas and we were opening presents. And we both work around Christmas. So we can't go home. We can't celebrate with family. We only get Christmas Day off. And I was opening a present and he got me this teeny tiny flask that was covered in pink sparkles.
Ooh,
like super, super cute. And the engraving on it just says Rebecca, and then it has a rose under it. And he looks at me and I'm like, oh, this is super cute. I love to drink. And he's like, yeah, I can see you like flinging it out at like weddings and events and like your tiny little like pink sparkly flask. And I was like, what's with the rose? And he was like, well, I didn't want to get your last name engraved on it in case you change your last name in the near future. And I, like, literally started tearing up. It was so...
Fuck!
We're also recreational drug users, so I may have been high on acid at the time. We call it acid miss.
There's nothing more romantic.
And I was like, are you serious? But that was my moment of like, he wants. So even though there was no like plans to get married at that time, it was like
he was confident in it.
He wants to marry me one
and you know
day.
what? The fact that it all happened on the spot like that displays confidence in the relationship because it means we don't have to do this big thing. Like, let's just do this.
And it doesn't matter. And I was talking to a couple. I was talking to the girl in the relationship. And they were just like thinking, oh yeah, we're going to get married. And we were talking on the phone and I was going over a bunch of stuff with her. And she was saying like, I was like, oh, did you guys get engaged recently? She's like, well, she's like, kind of. And she said like they were out for dinner and they had talked about it. And it just came naturally up that they want to be married and that this should be it. And I was like, girl, that's good. Like,
that's a good way to do it.
Anything else. Like,
it shouldn't be a surprise when you're dating for someone for so long when you're like, hey, yo, I want to get married. Like, values and all of that stuff should be talked about gradually and consistently, I think.
Like, Mark and I had talked about it and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, propose. But that's like if you're begging for it, like it's different. But then I was so completely surprised when he did it, and it was so special.
I'm so glad you got that moment. Like, fuck, those moments are good.
But your moment, like, that's the thing.
It is what it is.
It's memorable.
Yes.
It might not be it might not be the childhood or like what you thought it would be, but it's memorable and it represents you guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you as a couple.
And for a while, I was really like, it was awkward to tell people because everyone's like, "Oh my god, how did he propose?" And it's like, well, actually,
I love it.
Like to leave out the fact that we were like a little drunk, but the real thing is when he told me later, and he told me the story about how like, oh, you know, I decided like a year in that if you ever asked, I would tell you, and he says he's like we were playing a game of chicken of who was gonna like succumb first, and like when he tells all that stuff, and when he shared that with me, I was like, yeah, this is more meaningful than someone just asking out of the blue.
And
You could have told, you know, in like, what is it, the Proposal movie?
Yes.
And where they're making up this story. You could have totally done that. Be like, well, let me tell you.
I love it.
But no, yeah, each person's proposal is so special to them. And
yeah. And if you love that person... Oh, I'm getting so cheesy. Ooh.
Oh, weddings do that!
I love it. I'm going to be the cheesiest person for the next 2 months.
If you literally love someone so much to a point of like, you want to spend the rest of your life with them, like, it shouldn't matter too much how it happens.
No.
Okay, I'm coming from a single person's perspective of like, you found someone you love, like, fuck yeah, that's
keep
good.
on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah. I'm basically, when I think about us, Mark and I getting married, things aren't going to change afterwards. It's not going to be this huge thing. We're just going to continue. Mark's probably going to go back to work on the Monday. Like, no big deal, whatever. I haven't talked honeymoon yet, but like...
You need to book a honeymoon.
Oh, we will.
Seriously? Don't let it be one of those things that doesn't happen because you're going to put it off. Because I see that happen a lot.
Oh, that happens.
And
in this day and age, it happens so often.
And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but you need to do something.
We're going to do it. Just with his work and stuff. We're just waiting for the right time.
I get that.
We want to do all inclusive. We just got to figure out.
Hell yeah.
Excuse me, when, where.
Hell yeah.
But like, I don't think it's going to change. It's going to be a title. No, and I think that was what Mark was. He's like, well, nothing's going to change. Why? Like, what's the pressure on it? I'm like. Yeah, I think this was just in the beginning of like the whole thing. But I don't think it's going to change. If any, like I'm excited for it. I think we're going to be like
But did you feel there was a change when you got engaged?
Oh.
Because for me, that was a change.
No.
What was that? Was there a change or a bad change?
A good change.
Okay,
this is like
this is it
forever.
Yeah.
Aww.
Or. I mean,
cheesy. No,
and I don't even mean to be like
it is.
It is like
the intent.
The one thing for life is that there's change, right? But that we care about each other enough that like we are ready to take this big step and tangle things even further up and interweave our lives even more.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the change. Actually, getting married, I was like, yeah, that's the same thing as. And if you expect there to be change, then there should be an issue.
I don't expect change.
That's so true.
I think it's just like, I'm gonna have 2 rings on my finger. He's actually gonna wear a piece of like something.
It's so awesome to see.
Oh my gosh, no, we went. So when Mark got mine, it came with a matching wedding band. I was like, holla.
Yeah.
So we had to go get his, and he's trying them on, and we found one, and I'm like, oh, damn, that looks good. And yeah, like that's really the only thing that's going to change. I found there was a change when we got engaged. It was like, yeah.
It feels solid.
I don't, you feel solid.
Is it a sigh of relief in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
You're just like,
sure.
okay.
Because like when you were talking about him saying, what's the rush? I instantly went back to when I was dating my ex 6 years ago, and he was someone who always said, I don't believe in marriage. I come from a divorced family. It's just, it doesn't have to be on paper. Like commitment is commitment. It doesn't have to be a thing. And I remember being like, oh, well, and like, and then I thought about it and I was like, there's people who are why people, like, why do that? But then there's like, why not people? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, why not? Why not do it?
And to be fair, like, if you're going to live with someone, I mean, common law. Common law is a thing very shortly. So, really, you're as tangled as you are going to be no matter what. Yeah. So why not take that extra step to show how much you want to be that, not just like,
100%.
oh, I fell into it and this is just easy to do, so I'm doing it. Like,
Right.
take that step to say, hey, yeah, I want to.
Yep.
And you don't have to get married though either. Like,
That's true, you
teach
don't.
their own.
Yeah, to each their own. And I will say, like, my views of marriage have changed drastically. But that said, I still respect it. And I respect people who do it. And commitment is really hard these days. We're in an age of Tinder and online dating. And it's really easy for, I don't know. It's easy.
Yeah.
So, like, monogamy and commitment is rare, in my opinion.
You know what? Easy, but I have 2 hot friends who are getting divorced right now, and both of them are freaking out about, will anyone ever love me again? Will I?
Oh, shit.
And in one case, the woman's like, one of the women is leading her divorce, the other one, her partner's leading to the divorce, and both of them are like, will I ever be loved again? Will I ever have sex again? Will I ever have someone who's interested in me? So as much as it's so easy in some ways, there's still that fear. There's still that,
hell yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Oof.
Back to the happy stuff.
It got deeper than I thought it was going to get.
Just a little.
Like, I just like to say, like forever is a very strong word. I like to just say it's like, it's the intent for it to be forever. It might not be.
The only thing that's right, the only thing that's constant is change.
Change is so true.
And I don't like to think about it, and I don't like to, like, and we were talking about the other day, and with my husband, and it was just, like, making me all sad, and, like, not in our relationship, but just in other people's relationships, where it's like, we can see this from both people's point of view. We understand that things end and change. I don't want this to happen for us, but, like, you don't know what's going to happen 10, 20, 30, 40 years in the future.
We can't be that arrogant to assume.
You can't.
You can't. You can only do what's best for you in the moment and in where you're at.
Yeah. Do
That's
all
just what I
things with, like, love?
Because,
extra
totally.
cheesy. But, like...
No, you're totally right. Because I think deciding to get a divorce, in a way, is admitting, like, we are better off apart. We are better people apart from each other. I just want to go on a quick rant about Justin Theroux and Jennifer Aniston. So Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux are my 2 ultimate people. Like she's my number 1 girl crush, and he's my number 1 guy crush.
Hot.
And so when the whole Brad Pitt thing happened, and she was heartbroken, and the media was all like, she's unlucky in love, and she'll never find love. She was like the Taylor Swift of actresses. She was.
Yeah,
she was.
Pretty much.
To be honest, and
with actually better relationship back than Taylor Swift.
Big time. And then she found Justin Theroux, and there were 2 fucking hot people, and they rescued dogs together, and they had this amazing thing, and now they're getting divorced. And I gotta say, I did not take it well, because they were my 2 favorite people, and I was just like, God damn it! Like when the Brad Pitt thing happened, people were just like, she's never gonna find love again. She's never gonna find love again. And then she found Justin Theroux,
ridiculous.
and it was like this light. It was this like beautiful light, and then now they're getting divorced, and I'm just like, fuck.
I mean, in a completely like think of it this way. Maybe their relationship was the right thing at the right time. And maybe it's done.
And
they may even be parting on good terms. We don't know.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but when you're rich, a divorce is not a big deal. I hate to say it.
There are a lot, like,
the emotional part's probably still there, but the rest
100%.
of it is like, what the fuck?
100%.
What's that?
But like, that's
less
the thing.
$5 million.
I got that as pocket change.
It used to be like such a goal of mine to get married and have a wedding. Mm-hmm. And now I care less. I mean, I'm 31. I care less about the wedding, and I care more about the idea of like finding a committed person. Mm. But that's just me. Like, I've been alone for so long, but like I still love the idea of a bitchin' wedding.
Oh,
so can we talk about what makes
party?
Let's get back to fun stuff.
Yes.
What makes a good wedding? What are the components that make a wedding amazing for you? And let's talk about it from the perspective of attending a wedding, maybe.
Attending, okay.
Because, we go to more weddings than we're in, typically.
I haven't had mine yet, so I'll get back to you on that. So I can tell you what I think is important, but yeah, we'll get to that. Having been to weddings...
So, I think the music.
Yeah, I was going to say good music.
Good music. People that are there and are happy and wanting to have fun.
Yeah,
that are
good
up.
guess.
You're gonna be dancing with everybody. Like, you might have just met this person over at the next table, but you're gonna dance with them. You're gonna have a good time. You're there for those other people. Definitely.
And I've been to weddings with bad music, but with an open bar and good people, and still had a great fucking time.
Open bar would be amazing.
Not
everyone can afford it, but open bar would be
It's not a thing in Nova Scotia for a reason.
I've been to one with an open bar. It was a cousin's wedding, and
Was it a shit show?
yeah. Yeah. But no, like, ooh.
More wine.
Speaking of open bar,
Let's crack that bottle.
So I think music is so key. Dancing is dancing. Motherfucking dancing.
I feel for people, and I know this from a colleague we worked with at the same business.
Okay.
Not drinkers, very religious, super nice people, had a full dinner wedding, no bar at all. I know.
Opposite of a ding.
But
whatever the opposite of ringing the bell is.
And I
But it is
feel
what it
for
is.
her, and we've talked so much since, like, didn't know her when she
Yeah.
got married. And she's like, I wish I knew I could have done, like, a lunch or a breakfast. Fuck yeah, you could have. And then it would have been less awkward. I mean, also, like, brunch wedding with, like, boozy mimosas and a shit ton of, like, build your own Caesar bar. Dance party, I'm all over that.
Sarah's
Somebody let me
mind is
plan your
blown
brunch
right now.
wedding. But you could have done something different where it would have
Yeah.
been less the expectation that there was alcohol for those guests who do drink.
That's very true. Because, and we went back on it before, it is your day, you do what you want.
Yeah.
But then you have to think like, okay, it's my day, and this is what I want to do, but how much do I care about how much fun my guests have? Because if you're someone like me, I want my guests to have a fucking blast.
Heck yeah.
So like, I would do what I want, but I would incorporate things.
But then you also,
that they
I
want.
look at it as like a financial standpoint, but then you gotta also look, you don't want people to go overboard.
That's true.
You don't want people that are gonna like open
That's
open
why
bar
people-
for us was not an option.
No, that's why people don't do it in Nova Scotia. And I think it's not that Nova Scotians go overboard more than other people. I think people are just more fiscally responsible in Nova Scotia and realize that it's not a realistic thing to pay for everybody's drinks all night.
Do it.
I wouldn't. Yeah,
I
don't know how
only
people
did it
can
due
do
to
it.
like
where our
grave
weddings
discounts.
the drinks are cheap.
Yeah,
They're
that's the thing.
cheaper. So I'm like, okay, cool.
And you're getting
Where are you getting married?
Fleet Club Staticona Base. It's the new Fleet Club that they just built. It is beautiful.
And where are those military discounts? Is it part of that? Do you get that?
We get mess prices. So
Yeah.
I think a beer is $3.50.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Which is super good. And there's an ATM in there. But you go, I go with a fistful of cash to a wedding.
Well, as long as
Yeah,
your
yeah, of
guests
course.
know, you have to just
They know.
with everything, not even just with bar stuff, with what kind of meal you're doing, what the surroundings are. Just let your guests know ahead of time what to expect. People will come prepared, and everyone will have a good time.
Thank you.
You have people show
That's a good
up,
idea.
and you're not serving them a full dinner, and they didn't know. Well, yeah, you're gonna have hungry, grumpy guests at 10 o'clock who are like, "Get me a fucking pizza."
Unless you're Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux, who did a surprise wedding because they're mega famous, and everyone thought they were going to a birthday party,
And then they're a wedding.
It's a wedding, but that's different because like they know they're going to a party.
Different.
Yeah.
Like they prepared for a party and they got a party. It was just a different kind of party.
Yeah, that's totally.
But yeah,
different.
I like the idea of being.
Just prepared.
This
Let
is
people
what it
know what to
is.
expect.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
thought of that.
Ooh, that's a very good.
Like, we're doing
That's
a
a very good
buffet
point.
for all those listening.
Oh, I love buffet.
We're doing a buffet.
You don't need to let people know that.
No.
It's more just
It's free
like
food.
yeah, it's free food.
Yeah.
It's just more like for people who are doing a reception style and they're not providing a full meal.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, that's true. There's
having-
only hors d'oeuvres or something.
Or having an outdoor
Yeah, no,
ceremony.
that's true.
Do you have an outdoor ceremony?
No, not in this province.
Not yet. No.
Thank you.
I love Nova
Thank you
Scotia.
for
I
that.
really do. But the chances of, I don't want to risk it snowing, raining,
I
hailing.
had a couple ask me, oh my gosh, they're from somewhere out west. Actually, I should probably touch base. I haven't heard from them in a while. And they're like, well, what month can you guarantee? Like, what month is there warmer weather?
Are
I'm
you
like,
kidding me?
Never. It can be like a snowstorm in August. Not a snowstorm, but it can be cold and miserable in August and like randomly beautiful in May.
It's
like, I
so
cannot
true.
predict. You can't
Can't
predict in Nova Scotia.
Not here. Like, it's beautiful, but like we didn't want to do outdoor because
that's fair.
You got to have a backup.
And then you don't want to deal with that stress.
No.
And that's the thing.
No.
As
Pictures I'm a little concerned about.
As much as I would want to be the person who would have an outdoor wedding, and because like you always see like wedding pictures of like, ooh, it rained, so they got some umbrellas and they did some fun things with the umbrellas.
Yeah.
And
I have a whole bunch of those.
So
They're pretty cute.
I envy those people because I just think like you are just not. You're not me. Like I would be such a mess if it like was shitty weather on my wedding day.
Most people come to our venue and specifically for an outdoor wedding. We had a bride this year who was like, no matter what the weather is, I'm having an indoor wedding. They did this kick-ass like floral installation hanging off the ceiling.
Hell yeah.
Had the wedding inside. It was beautiful. Her reason was because she didn't want to sink in the grass in her stilettos.
Oh,
girl,
bitch.
you do you.
Wow. Shit.
I was like, all right. Because weird as fuck.
That's
especially
a bit much.
for where I work. But man, that's what they wanted at their wedding, and she did what she wanted and had a great time. Fuck yeah.
That's exactly what I think too. It's funny because when you were talking, I was like thinking about the imaginary wedding I have in my head that will never happen. But like when I think of my wedding, I want to create a space where you walk in and you're in a different world. Like I want.
Ooh.
Yes.
This is never going to happen, people, so I'm allowed to be ridiculous about it.
Well, it better happen because I'm going to plan it, clearly.
I'm going to be the bridesmaid.
I love the idea of making it like an atmosphere that's not of this earth. Ooh. If that makes any sense.
And there's actually some
I want fog.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's like
Lady
some
Gaga
funky ways to do it. Ooh,
strobe lights. Lady Gaga here.
Lady Gaga-esque wedding.
I want trees inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I've done that.
I love that idea because then it looks like you're outside, but you're inside.
And then you don't have to worry about the weather. It's all in a controlled environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we like music. So what else is there?
I love dancing.
How do we feel? Okay, I do have a question. How do we feel about the conventional format of a wedding? In other words, you got the ceremony, you got the dinner with the speeches. And, like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, but people have different ideas on how things should go. And these traditional things that are associated with weddings, like speeches and throwing the bouquet and... You know, what's
your face?
No, I have seen like maybe 4 brides throw a bouquet in my
really?
In my last 100 weddings. 4.
I'm gonna say this. So
you can throw a bouquet.
No. It's so funny.
I feel like such a bitch.
No. Oh my god, no. So when I was meeting with my flower people. They're like, so do you want a bouquet to throw? I'm like, no, I have to pay for that. No, thank you.
No. I'll pay you for the bouquet if you throw it to me.
You're getting your own little bouquet.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. Mary.
No, I know.
It's not
the florist I did go with, shout out to Pilchers on Windsor Street. They are so fantastic. Where was I going with this? I guess they're throwing in this little piece that could be used to throw or put on the cake. And I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out.
Extra flowers are extra flowers. It's good.
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, I'm just like, most of the people that are coming have a date. Sorry, Sarah.
I know, I was like, oh, Sarah.
I'm sorry. I love you, but I'm just...
Sarah, I'll get a suit and be your date, but I won't put out. I'm sorry.
No deal.
Fair.
No, just acquire a little vibrator and then be like, here.
You know what? Okay, like all of that
done.
being said, I totally get if you're in the wedding party, like there's not really much point in having a date because you're not going to be sitting with them. No. I got invited to a wedding recently, like another wedding, like just as a guest, and I got a +1. And I'm like, fuck yes, thank you. Like,
not?
It actually just made me feel good to be like, you know, I could just take a male friend of mine.
I'm sorry, I feel really bad now.
No, I get it because I'm in the wedding party.
No, that's true.
I'm not going to get to see them anyway.
For a wedding party, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I think, honestly, as an adult, unless you really, really have like tight constraints, which are fair, you have to do you give people +1s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you can.
Okay,
like,
unless Well,
I didn't state on my invitation like +1. But if you were to come to me and say, hey, I just met this guy, or I've been dating this guy for a while, can he come? Yeah.
Now, and
just throw it at me.
See,
like sorry.
No, I was just saying, so okay. Hardcore wedding traditional, like, etiquette. Your invitation is supposed to say exactly who is invited.
Right.
And if it doesn't say, it's really, really bad etiquette to ask
bride and
groom. It is. But who gives a shit about etiquette?
Yeah,
I've totally,
that's true.
Because I've totally done it in the past.
You're speaking from this is what the traditional standard.
Yeah, I'm just saying, speaking from the traditional thing. And
yeah.
most people don't follow it anyways because people do terrible, mean, awkward, weird things.
Yeah, I've got a situation like that.
Share
Can you
more.
tell it? Can you tell it?
Think
about it first.
Well, yeah, it's no secret.
I love
So,
I'm having so much fun right now, by the way. I am actually a bit drunk, which is very fun because I've done a lot of sober episodes recently and I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's fun. But like, it's so much funner when I'm drunk.
I'm having fun.
Go on.
Not really drinking. So,
my No Dinner Friday is helping this.
Your what? No Dinner Friday!
I was just busy!
Oh my god!
oh girl, please eat something.
Have some cheese and Triscuit.
I'm going to have more.
So going through my RSVPs, got them in a stack. I'm like, oh, yay. I get one back. There are 2 extra people. That was not on the invitation. 2
You're
people.
like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah. So 2 people are coming to my wedding that I don't know about. That I think I've met one of them once. And I'm like, really?
So this was someone who wrote on their thing.
Yeah, plus two. I'm like, what?
Like, how presumptuous can you be? Is the thing.
And like I was saying, with traditional etiquette, you're not even supposed to ask.
You're not supposed to
ask.
ask.
Who it is addressed to is who it is for.
However, when I dug into the situation, it is for a good reason.
Right.
It's so that other people can make it, and there's ease with the whole day. So, Fair enough. I'm getting more. I'm not thrilled with it, but
of course,
if it means that these original people can come, absolutely,
yeah,
for sure.
And I mean, if it gets out of hand, put your foot down. But
yeah,
a couple people won't make that much of a difference.
No, and we thought about like, oh my gosh, where are we going to put them? And it's like, well, they invited them, they're sitting with them.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That's how it's going to work.
To be fair, how many people are at the wedding? Ish.
We invited 117.
So probably
I
around
have no idea how many.
ish.
Sure.
Yeah. You won't even notice they're there.
Yeah. No, I'm not too worried.
That's very true.
In the beginning, I was quite annoyed. Yeah. Now, I'm trying to let it, like...
Yeah, that's fair. And if Karen and Eve were here right now, they would probably mention the fact that, like, they had a destination wedding.
Yeah.
Like, small wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a bunch of people came that they didn't know. And that's really weird. Like
not that they knew and just came,
like
or
friends of the family kind of thing.
Oh.
Like, that they had never met.
No.
And it's like, yeah, you're using my, like, wedding as a vacation excuse. And it's just weird to me. I really like, and again, I don't know anything about love or weddings, but like, I like the idea of like a smaller wedding.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
The reason why our numbers are so big is because I have a really big family.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a really big,
and I have a really small
sides.
one, so like, I've never pictured it being big because I have a really small family. So
yeah. Mark's family's very, like, when we did our 2 guest lists, my family one just kept going. His stopped. I'm like, sorry, babe. But, I want, my family's important to me.
And it's so cheesy, but, like, when do people, like, actually make the time to get together?
That's so true.
Weddings?
It's funerals.
And
funerals.
Yeah.
And, like, why not do it? Not that a funeral can't be a positive, enjoyable experience, but it's never going to be as much fun as a wedding.
It's very stressful. I have so many, like, this is like the event of the year in my family, and I'm excited.
Yeah, right! I love that it took getting on this podcast for Mary to be like, it's about me.
I'm the event of the year.
I love it. I love this, Mary.
Everyone is so excited, and we have people coming that are coming from the other side of the country. And I'm like, that means the world to me. Yeah. The fact that you are flying from, my aunt lives in British Columbia.
Like,
she's coming
That's
from
amazing.
BC. Like, I am so excited. And yeah, it's my mom's family's from Cape Breton. So a bunch of like
such a good
it's gonna
I'm gonna get along with them because I'm from Antigonish, so that's like close enough.
Yeah. Oh, you're like right on the cusp.
Close enough.
But yeah, like it's going to be fun.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm like, I think about it and I'll be listening to certain, like, yes, the Rankin family will be played.
Yeah, of course. It has to be.
How could it not?
Yeah, and every time like I hear Mall River Shuffle, I'm like, yes! Like, I'm so excited.
And those, that's the thing that makes it. It's like a celebration with people. And
yes.
it was funny you say, so the guest list thing. I often am doing wedding sites with people, taking them around, showing how many people, are you planning? Oh, we're thinking like this many. Do your family know about the wedding yet? Oh, not yet. No, that list is going to grow.
Oh, shit.
And it's not even in like a negative way. It's just you tend to think of yourself as an isolated couple or like these are the people who are important to me. And then your parents most likely are like, well, but there's all these people you haven't thought about who, really care about you and would really want to see you get married. Mm-hmm. And so then a guest list tends to grow.
Yeah,
or, the people who you don't think would want to be there, and then all of a sudden are like, oh, you're getting married? I can't wait. And then you're like,
what?
Oh, fuck.
Ooh. Seating arrangements.
Oh.
You have to do it.
Oh, yeah, no.
Have to do it.
I have the ideas going in my head of who's going where, with what, whatever.
I'm so glad I'm in the
doesn't
bridal
have
party
to be-
so that I'm not at the sad singles table. Oh my god. I'll be with like a bunch of children and me.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to my
Drink up,
friends.
children.
I'm so glad that I'm in the bridal
You'd
party.
be like, yeah, this would be the scene. Sarah pouring wine into her glass from the bottle.
Which is what I just did.
I'm definitely doing it. Cause,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I can help you with that.
And
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to have like a specific seat per person, but at least a table.
The tables, I'm going to be more, like I'm going to have a
That's a
piece
good
of Bristol
call.
board, Post-its.
Yeah.
And it's
put it
fun.
together.
It's fun to have a glass of wine or two when you're doing it.
To bottle.
Yeah, bottle or two. But at least do it, because if not, guests show up and then they feel uncomfortable. They're like, who do I sit with? Am I wanted? Do I belong?
I've never been to a wedding where there wasn't a seating arrangement.
My very first wedding, where I am working now, there was no seating arrangement.
Chaos.
And it was a choice menu.
Oh.
And there were about 30 kids who all had a choice menu. So 30 out of 70 were kids. Most of the kids were under the age of 11. Let me tell you, by the time dinner was done, everyone was tired. Kids were tired, parents were tired. Fuck, our staff were exhausted.
Oh, no.
But it was a shit show. And it's just it makes people feel welcome if they have a place assigned to them.
That's very true. And that you see their name and they're like, oh, I feel special.
Yeah.
The kids thing brings up an excellent discussion topic.
Ooh.
Kids-free weddings.
We talked about this.
How do we feel?
We talked about this. My maid of honor, Rebecca, she has 3 awesome kids.
Ooh.
We wanted them in the wedding party.
Okay.
I have family, friends with kids. And more than one. Mm-hmm. And we thought, oh my gosh, that's going to eat up numbers. You don't want them running around. As great as kids are. In the end, we said, no, we'll allow kids to come.
Okay. I was getting ready to ding the bell and then I backed up.
We were going to allow kids to come. But in the end,
Sarah, a wedding is what anyone wants a
No,
wedding to be.
100%. I'm impartial in the house.
No,
I'm impartial.
And I get it. If they have to bring the kids, I understand that.
Yeah.
I have a cousin. They're gonna have. Actually, she might have already had a baby. Oh my gosh, I should
You're
look
a terrible
into that.
cousin. I should look into
I
that.
find stuff out later, and I'm like, really, that happened? Cool. But they're bringing their 3 kids because they have an infant, and I'm like, that's okay. My cousin she lives in Montreal. If she couldn't bring her kids, she wouldn't be able to come because her in-laws live in France. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I want you there.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. I get it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I'm for it. I understand the kid-free wedding thing.
Right.
Like, we kind of tossed around the idea.
Right.
but then you come into situations like, well, what if you can't get a babysitter? What if they're an infant? Like,
Is there anything you can do as someone having kids at your wedding to make it like easier or
heck yes, hire a babysitter.
Okay, other than that, like at the actual wedding now, like is there things that like
any respectful parent for the wedding ceremony, if their kid is crying, is going to take them away from the ceremony. That's a respectful thing.
Absolutely.
And
do you have to say that to them though? Like as someone planning a wedding, like would you have to say your kids are welcome to come, but please be respectful? Like,
no,
is there a way to do
any
that?
sensible parent.
It's not any sensible parent. Whoa. Have you been in our world? There are like
I know there's really bad parents
people
out
around. If my thing is, if it's something that's going to affect you, talk to the people. I have a really good friend of mine. Her and her husband decided no kids at their wedding, and it was because she knew if that she was a very like commitment phobe person. Getting married for her was a huge deal. Like this was something like it wasn't an easy decision for her. The whole day was going to be a little bit difficult. Like, several years into her relationship, her wedding, or her, gosh, InTalksicated.
That's my ad.
A couple years into her marriage, she is very confident and it's very strong. It's only gotten stronger. But for her, the actual act of getting married was a huge deal. She knew if when she was doing her vows, there was a kid crying in the background, she would not lose her shit, but she'd lose her focus. She wouldn't be able to enjoy the moment. She wouldn't be able to be there. So for them, they decided kid-free.
Yeah. I think it depends on the situation.
It depends.
This is a situational thing. Like, if you are someone who has way too many kids in your family or extended family, that, like, if you don't include kids, you're going to lose all these people that you want to be there. Fucking knew it, man. But like, but at the same time, then you probably have prepare yourself for kids crying potentially during your vows. I'm cool with
we'll just play it off. Be like, you know what? Like, we'll lighten the mood or whatever. And those coming with kids, they're fantastic parents, so they're gonna be like.
And if you know them well enough, then that's what it is.
Like, or just say, hey. This is a big deal for me. If they're making a fuss, do you mind taking them out of the room?
A lot of people are just like, a lot of people have been RSVPing like, kid-free weekend, woo! Oh, okay. Like, so they're like,
want a chance to have fun.
Exactly.
That's good. That's even better.
The option, I wanted to include them. I was like, I wouldn't feel right not doing that. My parents haven't been invited to, when we were kids, they've been invited to weddings and they couldn't, it was a kid-free wedding and my parents didn't go. It was like, well, we can't,
because you can't get someone to watch.
Or like that, whatever, and that's cool. To each their own.
Yeah, but that's really it.
So
each their own.
I'm just like, you know what? And the kids will have fun dancing, or if they have to go to bed. Peace out.
Sometimes they make the party. Like
they do.
Be honest, they sometimes make the party.
Dance moves.
If you have though a wedding with 30 kids in attendance and a wedding of like 70 or 80 people, maybe don't do a traditional. Plated, seated, do a little 2-hour different. Think of who's going to be there and plan accordingly. There are so many different fun alternatives that you can do. Still very much a wedding, still very much important, special, but that kind of suits your guest list better. Because it just was not the right thing.
Yeah. No, totally agree.
To do a plated dinner. Yeah. I often suggest doing a kids' table a little bit separate from everyone else. Cover that shit in craft paper. Give crayons. Get them to write on the table. Or feed the kids during cocktail hour. Have them go back to a different location, a hotel room, someone's house. Hang out with a babysitter. If it's close enough, they can come back for the dance. Yeah. Like I
was just thinking, like, what about really cool hiring a babysitter? Like, depending on how many kids, like, what about hiring someone to come and watch them during certain times?
I've actually never thought of that.
Family friend, someone who's like. Close enough to be involved, but wouldn't normally be invited to the wedding.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to look at like
that's an interesting
situation
idea.
and the people. Yeah,
interesting.
Especially if your maid of honor has 3 kids. How old are they?
12, 7, and 4.
12-year-olds got that shit on lock.
But the thing is, they're actually not bringing their kids. They're not
because they're like, let's have fun.
They're let's have fun. But my Rebecca and her husband are both in the wedding party. So it would be so difficult to have 3 kids. Her kids are fantastic, very well behaved.
Of course.
But at the same time, Rebecca's often said, I'm a mom. I'm always going to be looking at the side of my eye. You're my focus for that day.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
her in-laws are driving up from New Brunswick to look after the kids. I'm like, I'm going to buy them the biggest gift.
That's phenomenal. That's great.
I'm like, that is so nice.
That is really good self-awareness.
Yeah.
To be like,
she used to work for a wedding planner, so I'm like, I'm getting a double dose. This is great.
Fully taken care of.
I used to want to be a wedding. Thanks so much for tuning in to part 1 of our wedding episode on Intoxicated. Do make sure you stay tuned for part 2 with even more talk about weddings. Thanks so much for listening.